Oshun. Alright, on this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer for entertainment purposes. Y'all are my soul tribe. Tribe is with a Y because the Y is for you, and that's because I love you so very much. I appreciate y'all so much. I deeply, truly do. I do not take it for granted. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the Soul Tribe for your weekly dose coming to you every Sunday and Thursday. Now, let me know in the comments, what's your favorite number? Like, what's your spiritual number, if you have one, or if you even know what that means. Mine is 4, is my spiritual number. But my favorite numbers are 4 and 8. So that's that on that. And 1, because I am the one, okay? Period. But let's get to this video. You know, as Geminis, we have several favorite colors, favorite numbers, favorite people, favorite song, favorite movies. It's never just one, okay? It's always very many because we have very many personalities. And we need things to match each situation that goes on within our being, our essence. In case you didn't know, that's my real name, Essence, okay? Now, let's get to this video. It says 9:10. I'm confused. Type faster.
I've made a deal with the devil. Is that considered selling your soul? I am back with another spooky story. And this story was submitted from Atlanta, Georgia. We'll call the person who submitted the story Anna. Anna said, now this all started about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, she fell into a really bad spot financially and she really needed help. And it seems like no matter what she did, she just wouldn't catch a break. It would be one thing after the other after the other. Now keep in mind, Anna is a single mother who has a child that she has to provide for. So when she ended up losing her job, that put her in a state of panic. And due to her losing her job, not only was she struggling with rent and food, or bills in general, but she wasn't even able to celebrate her own daughter's birthday, as she had no money and she was in this by herself. She applied for endless amounts of jobs and nothing was coming up for her. Things got so bad, it got to a point where her utilities started turning off. So she didn't even have hot water for a while. Eventually, she got to a point where she really financially could not take care of her daughter, so she sent her daughter to her mother to take care of her. Now, while this was not a decision that she wanted to make, as the mother lived all the way out in Boston, even though it wasn't a choice that she wanted to make, she had to send her daughter to Boston to live. While her daughter was away in Boston, let's just say that Anna got busy. She found use of her time. Said at that point, she was so desperate in her life that she just wanted anything to work. She was just throwing stuff at that point, hoping that something would stick. To which point she came across witchcraft. There was a spiritual store that was selling crystals and herbs and all that good stuff. And she went in there and she met this lady. They hit it off basically and became friends. Now, Anna says that she really appreciated her friendship with this lady as she validated everything that she was going through. When she opened up to this lady about her financial issues and everything else she was experiencing in her life, this lady believed that she could fix all these issues via spirituality. So that's when she started to lean into spirituality. And to make matters worse, a few weeks later, she comes home and she notices a letter on her door. And at that point, she had been served with an evictions notice. Desperate to find an answer, Anna decided to do something that she did not think would work. And Anna says, and I quote, "I genuinely never thought that anything would have came out of this." And what Anna did was draw a star on the ground. So Anna drew a 6-point star and put a candle at each point of the star, equating to 6 candles, and decided to repeat a chant to summon a god, any god, 6 times.
What?
While she stood in the middle of the circle.
Any God?
She said she chanted, nothing happened, so she pretty much just cleaned up and went to sleep, didn't think about it. Well, later that night, she had a dream. She had a dream that she was approached by this red creature. He said that the creature was red from head to toe and had black eyes. Even though they were horrifying to look at, their energy was pretty calming. To which this person walked up to her and told her that you have summoned me and I'm here. State your wish, but it also comes at a price. Okay, Rumpelstiltskin. Anna asks, well, what is the price? And the creature replies, depends on how big your demand is.
Yes, I snort if you heard
Now,
that.
Anna says that this is a dream, so what the hell, she might as well just go for it. She tells the creature about her hardships and where she's at in her life right now, and that she wants to experience the complete opposite of that. She wants to live an abundant life, and she wants to be rich. To which the creature asked her, are you ready to sacrifice for the things that you truly want? Julie wanted to know what was the price. To which the creature approached her, put her hands on her forehead, and once the creature did that, she was able to see a clear image of what her future would look like. She saw riches, lots of money, a lifestyle that she only ever dreamt of, and she wanted that. However, she also saw the not so good part. She saw very clearly in the visions that a lot of people around her started to die. And through the vision, she understood that that was the price that she would have to pay. And knowing that, well, this is just a dream and everything that she saw in the vision still looked pretty good, Anna agreed. She said, then woke up, went about her life, didn't think about it. It just seemed like a hazy, fading dream. Days go by and she doesn't notice anything different about her life. She still doesn't have a job, she still has an evictions notice, and she's still broke. But clearly that was nothing but a dream. She said one random day she decided, you know what, let me just play the lotto. It's around the holiday season. Let me test my luck. And at that point, she completely forgot about the dream. She said she played the lotto and won a decent amount of money. With the decent amount of money that she made, she was able to get into the stock market and get into investments. She said once she got into investments, that's when everything skyrocketed for her. It seems like she was making all the right moves and she could never mess up. And she said that she was in her house making all of this money. She got her daughter back from her mom and things are going great. She says 5 years later of doing this, she was touching millions of dollars that she had never touched before, giving her daughter a life and experiences that she only ever dreamt of giving her. On Christmas of the 5th year, her mother, who was perfectly healthy in Boston, she fell down the stairs in her home, winded up in a coma, and passed away the next day. 2 weeks after that, her boy best friend got into a tragic car accident. He did not make it. And coming into the new year, which would have been this year, one of her cousins fell really sick and also she did not make it. She says she met a guy beginning of this year and she really likes him. And as the holiday seasons are rolling around, he started becoming very sick. He never had lung problems before, however, he developed one. Doctors can't even tell him where this came from. And at this point, this is when Anna started to remember that she did strike a deal 6 years ago, but it was a dream and she barely remembers it. And Anna says that this might be the biggest coincidence of her life, or she might have accidentally actually sold her soul and potentially made the biggest mistake of her life. Anna wants you all to know that if you're going through anything in life, just wait your turn and pray. Don't do anything crazy because you might just fuck around and find out. Things are not looking too good for her boyfriend right now and she doesn't know what to do. And that is all she submitted. Thank you.
No, yo no sé.
The fuck?
¿Sí yo?
That scared you? Because it sure scared the shit out of me. What's that? It can't get me a second time.
¿Quién?
Hell to the no. And you opened the fucking door, so you just let them in. Whose little kid is that? Oh, hell no. What the fuck? I ain't know this is what we was on today. I ain't know. I did not know. Okay, my bad. My bad. Oh, to the no. We don't receive none of this energy, baby. You are not welcome. We don't receive it. No, no. Even if it is video, like he had his baby, his child do this, it's still scary. The Oscar goes to, okay? Hell to the no.
not to open the door, especially if you're not expecting company. I am back
that.
with another spooky
Didn't I just
story.
say that?
And this one is a submission from Atlanta, Georgia.
Ciao.
We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Tasha. Now, Tasha says that she's never been involved in like the dark and the mysterious stuff, never into the spooky things, never even really believed that those things exist. Tasha also wasn't overly religious. She believes in a higher power, she believes in a God, and would occasionally go to church. So Tasha had moved into this house in Green Meadows, Georgia, and she had been living there for about 2 years. The first 2 years, she never really experienced anything weird, except for, you know, hearing things in the bushes, but also those could be animals, but just hearing weird animals, but overall, really nothing. So Tasha has 2 kids. She has a boy and a girl. The boy is about 5 years old, and the little girl is even younger. So one night, they're all chilling in the house, minding their own business, when suddenly Tasha hears a knock on the door. Tasha is not expecting company or anything, but it's not strange that somebody would come knocking on the door. The only thing that was strange was the time, knowing that her neighbors don't live that close to her, and if anything, her neighbors could call her. But somebody's at the door, so Tasha approaches the door. She looks through the peephole and doesn't see anybody. She doesn't see anybody, so she's like, maybe somebody's just trying to play a game. So she starts to walk away from the door when she hears the door knocks again. So she walks back towards the door, goes back to the peephole, still does not see anybody. She asks, who is it? Who is knocking on the door? And then she hears the voice of a child. And Tasha's confused and concerned at who would leave their child outside at this time. Now, she's used to the kids in the neighborhood playing around, but around this time it's dark outside, and it's also getting a little bit colder. So there's no reason that the kids should be outside. So Tasha opens the door, and in front of her door standing is a little girl. Said the little girl was a black girl with an afro, and she was wearing this dress and some shoes. So she opens the door and she says, oh, hello. Obviously actually shocked to see a child. So she starts asking the kid, are you lost? Like, do you need help? The little girl is standing there staring at her, not saying anything. Tasha is asking her 1,000,001 questions. She gets down to her knees to get to her level so they can talk. Has your parents abandoned you? Do you need help? Do you need me to call somebody? Are you cold? When suddenly the little girl points to inside her house and initiates that she wants to come inside. This little girl is not saying any words at all. Tasha didn't want to leave this little girl outside by herself, so she decided she agreed. She let her come inside the house. She lets the little girl inside her house. She closes the door, and then her son comes out from the back to see what's going on. And the little girl looked no older than about 6 years old. So when Tasha heard her son coming around, she's just like, okay, well, perfect. Except once the son saw the little girl, he had such an overt reaction that Natasha had never seen from him before. This little boy started screaming off the top of his head. He screamed so much, he just ran straight into the other room. So Tasha and the little girl are still standing by the entrance while her son just ran into the other room screaming in hysterics. Tasha doesn't want to leave the little girl here by herself, but she's still wondering what is going on with her son. So he said, give me a minute, I'm gonna see what's going on with my son. And we all would have to basically drive you down to a precinct. Again, the little girl did not say anything. Tasha walks over to go get her son. Her son had locked himself in the bathroom. When she finally gets inside of the bathroom, her son expresses to her. The son said, Mommy, why are you talking to a dead person? And Tasha's like, what? And he's like, that little girl is dead. How do you not see it? She has a dead face and her eyes are sunken in. Her son are describing all these things that Tasha just did not see. So Tasha just decides, let me just go back to the front and just check out this little girl because maybe my son has a extensive imagination. Well, Tasha gets back to the front where she last left the little girl, and the little girl is gone. She searches all around the house for this little girl, and she was nowhere to be found. And the whole time she was in the bathroom and her son was describing all of this, she didn't hear a single pin drop. She didn't hear the door open. She didn't hear anything. That little girl that she had just let inside her house had disappeared. And Tasha said that after that day, she would go on to have so many weird things happen in her life that she's starting to think that her son might have been right. Because the amount of freaky stuff that she started going through directly after that, she's starting to think that the dark and mysterious might be real. That night, she pretty much convinced herself that maybe the little girl did leave through the front door and she just didn't hear anything. And she did try to let her mind rest. If you guys
scary stories. This is perfect because I don't know if you guys can tell where I am. It is raining, and for some reason, scary stories are trending on TikTok. So I'm going to share my scary story.
Welcome to the Soul Tribe.
Patrick's Day. I do have green on, so I'm good. Okay, so this is like 8 years ago. We lived out in the country, like in the middle of nowhere, and my husband worked really long hours, and there was a prison about 3 or 4 miles away. Like, it's just, when I moved there, I'm like, great, this is not good. So no neighbors for at least maybe a mile, and like no next door neighbors at all, just isolated, right? So whenever my husband would come home for lunch, he would drive on. We had like this dirt patch. This is, yeah, just go with me here. But this dirt patch, and he would drive around and then pull up in front of the house. And I would see this like dust cloud go past the window, and I'd be like, okay,
Daddy's
hubby's home. And so one afternoon, broad daylight, I decided to take a bath. And I, as one would, took off all my clothes, and all of a sudden, my dog starts barking. And if you're a dog owner, you know your dog has different barks. This was sound the alarm, feverish, like crazy, like her like guttural, like came. She's like the sweetest, but something was wrong. I'm like, what is going on? So I look at the window where the dust cloud always is, because sometimes my dog will bark. Well, all the time she'll bark when daddy comes home, but not like this. But I still wanted to believe. I'm like, where's the dust cloud? Wait, he just left a couple of hours ago.
Why would he be back?
From lunch.
Right.
So what is going on? So our bedroom had a door out to the back patio. Now, mind you, I am stark butt naked, and the dog is going crazy. And so our back door had like, it was a wood door with like the glass panel that goes from like above your head to probably like shin level, you know, glass panel in the door. And so there's a curtain on it, and I'm just like, what is she barking at? So I move the curtain back, and there's a man standing there that I do not know. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he was faced like sideways, and I was looking at him, so I saw him at profile. But now my first thought was, oh my God, this complete stranger has seen me naked. And then the second thought was, oh my God, who the is this complete stranger in my backyard?
Right.
And I, like, again, like my dog, this voice came out of me that I didn't even recognize. And I said, can I help you? Like, I just, you know, and I'm like peeking now. And he's like, I don't even know what he said. He was just like, and he starts high stepping it. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart is like this. And I'm like, it's a prisoner. He's escaped. He's trying to kill me. Like, I didn't even know what. And it's like, here's the thing. Just a little side note, two little side notes. One, when you live out in the country, you think you know what you might do. When your husband works long hours, you think you know what you might feel. All of those things, but you don't. My first thought wasn't call 911. My first thought was call my husband. And in hindsight, I guess it would have been better to call my husband. To call 911. But I just wanted him. So I called him. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And as I'm talking to him, I'm looking at the windows that kind of go around the house so I can kind of track this guy. The only thing I can see is like my husband's t-shirt, which is on the bed. So I grab that, throw that on. So all I have on is the t-shirt. At this point, honestly, I did not care if he had seen me naked. In that moment, I knew we had pew-pews, right? I had learned how to shoot pew-pews so that I could protect myself.
And
I was like, if I have to, I will this person. Because instantly this thing took over in my head about survival.
Thank you.
And that's all that mattered.
Thank you.
Being seen naked didn't matter. Being alone, I was like, I will do whatever it takes to defend myself against this guy. So I'm on the phone. My husband's like, well, call the police. And I'm like, I don't know if it's an emergency. That's the thing. Like, sometimes we like second guess. So I watch him go around, and he's just walking really fast. And there's a car, I don't know, the equivalent to like 3 house lengths away, you know, I don't know about that. And I see it with the hood up, and I'm like, I'm calling the police. So the police come pretty quickly. I lived in a really small town, but they came pretty quickly. And he was kind of like, you know what I mean? And so he's like, yeah, I spoke to him, and he said he was looking for water because his car broke down. I'm like, that's BS. I'm like, look at that right there in the front yard. There's a hose and a water spout right there. He had to step over that to go to my backyard. Plus, Who the hell invites themselves into somebody's backyard
really.
looking for water? Knock on the door, ring the doorbell.
Right.
It was lies. You know what I think he was doing? He was looking for an opportunity to either like steal things from our yard or to break into my house. Because again, it's the country. I live in the middle of nowhere. It just seemed like we weren't home. I don't know. So the cop just goes off and he's like, well, I'll kind of stick around and make sure he leaves. He's getting a ride or something. I don't even know. But my heart was beating and beating. So then about an hour later, after I'd somewhat calmed down, I put on my clothes and I went outside and I could see that there was a reflection on the window of the door. So there was no way he had seen me naked, which brought me peace, you know, just based on the sunlight and everything and the darkness inside the room. But believe it or not, I'm actually thankful that this happened because it taught me that when the chips are down, when you're scared as I would take care of myself, that I could take care of myself, that fear didn't make me freeze and make me not do what I needed to do, that I could protect myself.
What you gonna do?
Because sometimes that happens, and no disrespect to anybody who's got a story about freezing. Like, each of us are different, right? So let me just say that first. But for me, I was able to tell myself in a moment that if something happens that scares the crap out of me, I'm going to handle myself. And that is priceless. So no, I would not have wanted that to happen, but yes, I'm glad that it did because it kind of proved me.
I'm with the
to
shits.
me, even though it was scary. You guys share your scary stories with me if you can in the brief amount of time that TikTok
I got into a
allows you to.
shootout with my
Jody, I'm a
ex-boyfriend,
storyteller.
honey.
I hope you'll give me a
That's
follow.
crazy story
Bye.
for your ass.
This one is The Walking Dead from South Africa. Our favorite Haitian homegirl
We
is
still
back
cool.
with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Bato. When Bato was about 12 years old, her aunt told her something that still scares her till this day. It's about a woman she once knew.
I like
This
those
woman was
lashes.
originally
That
from
is cute.
Zimbabwe. Now, if you know anything about Zimbabwe, they are in the running with the Nigerians, the Haitians, the South African for the scariest voodoo stories. So this woman was originally from Zimbabwe, but when she moved to South Africa, she rented a back room at Bato's aunt's house. The woman made a living by sewing and quickly became very well known in the Kazi for her work. She was quiet, kind, and over time felt like family. Eventually, she met a man in the area. They fell in love and everything seemed perfect. Until he asked for her hand in marriage. Now, in South African tradition, there's something called lobola. I actually already know what that is. It's basically like when they pay for the bride. But it's like a bride price. Before the wedding, the groom is supposed to meet the bride's family to ask for their blessing and pay lobola. So they planned a trip to Zimbabwe, the woman, her fiance, and his uncles. But when they got there, something strange happened. Well, as soon as they arrived, the woman told them that she needed to make a run to the shop. She told them go ahead to her family home and explain why they're there. And she'll come back from the store shortly and she'll meet with them. So they went, they knocked, and introduced themselves. The moment that they mentioned her name, the woman who ran to the shop, her family froze. Then they said, "We're sorry, but that's not possible. She died 15 years ago."
God damn.
So confused and panicked, the fiance and his uncle tried searching for the woman, but she was gone. It's like she vanished into thin air. So later, her family, who had no idea that her spirit hadn't been at rest, performed a traditional ritual to find out what happened. That's when it came out. Their neighbor, a man long suspected of witchcraft, had stolen her spirit after death, chained it, and forced her to work for him spiritually. That's why she became so successful in South Africa, but never seemed to actually progress. Her soul wasn't free. Luckily, the ritual worked and they were finally able to help her spirit cross over. And when the man and his uncles returned to Bato's aunt's house, every trace of this woman was gone. Her sewing machine, gone. Her clothes, gone. Everything, gone. It was like she was never even there at all. And that was pretty much the end of that story. This one is, I'm gonna call this one The Neighbor from Hell. I am back with another spooky story. So there was once this woman by the name of Mariah. She was happily married with 2 kids, a boy at the age of 7 and a girl at the age of 16. They lived a very happy and comfortable life until their new neighbor named Abby moved in. Abby was a single woman who seemed very kind, soon became very good friends with Mariah. They would often go to each other's houses for lunch and have chats. But one day, Abby baked some cupcakes for Mariah. Since this was normal at this point, Mariah was eager to try one of Abby's cupcakes. They sat, had their chats per usual. However, after a couple of minutes after eating these cupcakes, Mariah started to feel very sick. Mariah starts feeling dizzy and eventually she collapsed. And it turns out, just like that, Mariah passes away. Abby calls the ambulance, then calls Mariah's husband. She tells Mariah's husband that she got to Mariah's house and found Mariah already passed out. And there was no sort of suspicion from the husband, as he knew that Mariah and Abby were great friends. So some time goes by and Mariah's funeral is long past. Abby began to check on Mariah's husband frequently. And sooner and later, they became a couple. It had only been a few months since Mariah's death, and she had really seemed to care about the husband and kids. Mariah's son was very welcoming of Abby. However, the daughter was not. It felt as if Abby was trying to replace her mother, and she was not there for that. She wasn't having it. Mind you, at that point, Abby started coming to the house a lot. She still had her home next door, but she would come over often to cook for the husband and kids. One day, Abby cooked a meal for dinner for the husband and the kids, and after one bite of the food, the husband was shocked. He instantly recognized that that was his late wife's secret recipe. And Abby just told him that his wife did share the recipe with her once while she was alive. Nobody thought too much about it and just ate the food. Now, during the dinner, the daughter was having an attitude the whole time. Got to a point where she stormed out of the table and went to her room. But before she went, she didn't leave without a bang, as she had some very nasty and disrespectful things to say to Abby. Oh, wow. Dinner ended and Abby went back home as usual. The next day, the daughter felt a bit apologetic about some of the things that she said. She decided that after school, she's just gonna go to Abby's and apologize. After school, she got to Abby's house and knocks on the door and no one answers. She knocks a few times, nobody's answering. So she decides to let herself in. So she walks in, she calls out for Abby, no one's answering. She walks towards the kitchen, and when she got to the kitchen, she saw her mother, Mariah. She could not believe her eyes. Her mom was standing there in the kitchen like a zombie. Wow. As she called out to her mom did not answer. Mind you, she was wearing the same clothes from the day that she died. And the scary part, was that she had a nail, the kind of nail used for wooden appliances, hammered into her forehead, and somehow she was still alive. So the daughter runs home, and since her dad was home, she called him and told him what she saw. But the dad, of course, does not believe her, so she's like, okay, come with me and I'll just show you. So he followed her to Abby's house, and they went inside, and he saw the exact same thing. He saw his wife, and he was in disbelief. He tried calling her and shaking her, but she was in a zombie-like state. He took his daughter and hurried home and told her, get in the car with your brother. They left and he took the kids to the grandparents' house, which was only about 10 to 15 minutes away. He came back home, went to Abby's house and blew a whistle. So basically, most communities in South Africa encourage households to have whistles so that they can blow if there's trouble, so that the community can hear it and they can come. So he blew the whistle as loud as he could, and people in the community heard it and came running, thinking that somebody's getting robbed, something horrible is happening. As the members of the community came, they saw Mariah. They were surprised. And in the midst of all the commotion, Abby came running in because she too heard the whistle. She came running thinking that maybe somebody broke into her property. And pretty much that was how she was caught by the community. Wow.
Right.
That was yet
That was crazy. What the heck? Woo, child. And the crazy part is there's so many people in this world who don't believe in this stuff and think that it's not real. Woo, child. I don't know, y'all. It's real, okay? Very real. Very real. And it still can affect you even if you don't believe in it. I'm going to say that, too. Anyway. You reached the end of another video. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate your time, baby. I do not take it for granted. I love the time that we spend together. I love the reading your comments. I love that you guys share and you guys love on me and appreciate my content. I do not take it for granted. And I, like, deeply in my heart, I feel so special that you guys have chosen me to subscribe to, you know, commit weekly to, twice a week at that, okay? But we're gonna continue, keep growing, glowing, and showing. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share, because sharing is caring, and it is free. Give it to who? Everybody you know, your mama, your daddy, your niece, your nephew, your uncle, your granddaddy, your grandmama, your godmamas, daddies, dogs, breeders, owners, they parents too, okay? Everybody needs to see these videos. So get it out there, get it to the universe. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you got some money to spend, get you a journal, an empowerment guide for healing people. I'll say women, but it's for anybody. Get you 25 days of affirmations. It's also some journaling inside of there. Get you some merchandise. I'm working on some more things to help you guys and to help myself just prosper. I'm being guided. I'm being directed. I'm being shown what I need to do to be successful. So I just need you guys to help me. I love you. I appreciate you. And until next time, Audi 5000. Ashe. Hey y'all, it's me, the Money Professor, and everybody wants to know, what's an IUL? And I'm going to tell you. So this is you, this is your money. And on average, you take your money and you put it in the bank. And when you put your money in the bank, it's only going to grow at a whopping 0.01%, maybe a 0.001%. And while it's in the bank is loaning out your money, compounding your money, and making and keeping all of the money. And what you should do is take that money and put it into an IUL. And what's an IUL? It's an Index Universal Life Insurance Policy. So when your money's inside an IUL, it is protected and it's guaranteed to grow on an average of 8 to 10%. All right. And so when it's in those accounts, the account grows because it is growing on a compound or uninterrupted compound interest. And when it's protected because it has a 0% floor, guaranteed, no losses. Okay, so when the money is in that account, at the same time, it's growing cash value. And when you have that cash value, you're able to spend that money tax-free. You can use that money for leverage, such as, you know, college funding, investing in property, or just other cash building assets. You can use that money as income replacement for retirement funding, or even build your own private bank, becoming your own family bank. And at the same time, it's a death benefit. It's a life insurance policy. So this death benefit, you are able to leave a legacy. It comes with living benefits for chronically ill or, you know, critical illnesses. And also it's collateral. You are using this money to pay back this money when you are taking it while you're still alive. DM me more or hit the link in my bio if you are interested in creating your own IUL. I'm not a religion, but you to a true.